Step with me into haunted Japan as we explore 3 dark legends. A priest cursed to feast on the dead, a jealous spirit born from the living, and a love with a secret so strange it's echoed for centuries. Not all ghosts are born from death. Some rise from greed, some from jealousy, and some from love that refuses to fade. In Japanese folklore, ghosts are more than fleeting apparitions. They embody emotions so powerful that they tear through the veil of life and death. The word yurei means a spirit bound to the world, often by rage, sorrow, or desire. But not all spirits wait until death to appear. Some become ikiryo, living ghosts born from jealousy or hatred so fierce it escapes the body. These stories, whispered for centuries in temples, courts, and summer gatherings, remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we imagine. And they were not just meant to frighten, they were warnings, cautionary tales about the consequences of unchecked desire, envy, or greed. In the mountains of Mino province, a traveling priest named Muso sought shelter for the night. He found only a lonely hermitage, where an aged priest turned him away with bitter words, sending him down to a nearby village. There, Muso was welcomed into the headman's house, yet quickly learned the village was in mourning. A man had died, and it was their custom to leave corpses unattended at night. Strange things happened in the dark, they warned, things so terrible that none dared witness them twice. Muso, unafraid, offered to perform rites and keep vigil. The room was silent except for the low murmur of his chanting. The single candle flame flickered against the walls, bending shadows into grotesque shapes. Hours passed, and then he heard it. Slow, dragging footsteps outside, followed by the sound of harsh, labored breathing. A dreadful shape appeared, hulking, shadowy, with eyes that burned like coals. Its stench was foul, like rotting flesh mingled with smoke. Its fingers, long and clawed, reached for the corpse with unnatural hunger. Frozen in terror, Muso could only watch as it seized the body, devoured it, and lapped up the offerings besides. The sound of gnashing teeth echoed in the darkness. When dawn broke, the villagers returned. They were not surprised. The same horror had struck before. For them, it was routine, a curse they had come to accept. Determined to uncover the truth, Muso returned to the hermitage on the hill. This time, the old priest confessed. He was no man at all, but a Jikininki, a corpse-eating spirit, cursed for his greed as a priest in life. Because he had performed rituals not from faith, but from lust for wealth and fine clothing, he was reborn to forever desecrate the dead. He begged Muso for prayers to end his torment. But as his words faded, so too did the hermitage. Muso found himself alone on the hillside, kneeling before a moss-covered tomb. In Buddhism, karma can stretch beyond death itself, shaping the very form of one's rebirth. The Jikininki stands as proof that greed in life may condemn a soul to feast upon the dead. But if greed could create such a monster, what horrors might jealousy unleash? In the twilight courts of Heian, Japan, where poetry and elegance masked rivalries sharper than swords, Lady Rokujō was admired for her grace. Once the consort of a crown prince, she later gave her heart to the shining Genji. Yet Genji's love was restless. Again and again he left her for younger, fairer women. Humiliation at court deepened her wounds, and jealousy festered into something darker. Some whispered that her rage left her body at night, roaming the palace unseen. Servants whispered that whenever Genji favored another, a chill swept through the corridors, candles guttered, and unseen hands brushed the sleeves of rivals. Soon, strange afflictions struck Genji's lovers. His wife, Lady Aoi, fell ill with fevers and visions of a shadow pressing upon her chest. During an exorcism, drums pounded, monks chanted, and incense thickened the air. The room trembled as if the unseen world pressed close. Aoi's body convulsed, and from the smoke a face emerged, distorted yet recognizable. It was Lady Rokujō. Even Genji's secret lover Yugao was not spared. One night, a vengeful apparition hovered over her bed. By morning, she was dead. And all the while, Lady Rokujō still lived, dignified, restrained, horrified by whispers that her own soul was drifting free. Ashamed, she withdrew from court life, retreating to the sacred Ise shrine. But even in death, her jealousy endured. Her restless ghost haunted Genji's household, tormenting his beloved Lady Murasaki and the other women of his villa. Doors rattled at night, cold hands touched sleeping courtiers, and the sound of sobbing filled empty rooms. Only after her daughter performed solemn rites did her spirit finally find peace. Lady Rokujō's fate became the most famous tale of an Ikiryo, a living spirit. She was no demon but a woman undone by passion so fierce it escaped her body. But jealousy is not the only force that binds a soul. Sometimes love itself refuses to let go. And when love crosses the boundary between life and death, it can become the deadliest curse of all. In old Edo, during the Festival of the Dead, lanterns glowed outside every home to guide ancestral spirits back to visit the living. Families set food on shelves for departed loved ones, and the night air shimmered with the warmth of reunion. On such a night, a lonely samurai named Hagiwara Shinzaburo sat in his garden, praying for the soul of a lost love. Tsuyu, whose name meant morning dew. She had died young, believing herself abandoned. Her maid Yoni had died soon after, from grief. As the moon climbed high, Shinzaburo heard it, the clatter of wooden geta sandals on the road, the rhythmic clip-clopping drawing nearer. Two women appeared at his gate. One carried a lantern painted with peonies. The other, dressed in a robe of autumn blossoms, was Tsuyu. Through tears, they told him they had been deceived, that they were told he had died. Shinzaburo, astonished, said the same lie had been told to him. Their joy was overwhelming. That night, Tsuyu entered his house, and before dawn they were lovers again. Night after night she returned, always with her servant Yoni and the Peony Lantern, always leaving at sunrise. His neighbors whispered of music and laughter that filled his home. But one night, his servant Tomozo spied through a crack in the door. What he saw chilled his blood. Beneath the mosquito net, Shinzaburo embraced not a living woman but a skeleton, her fleshless fingers clattering against his skin. Yone turned her hollow eyes toward the spying servant, and with a gasp he fled. But fear alone does not keep the dead at bay, and soon Yone would return, not to Shinzaburo but to Tomozo himself. Tomozo sought counsel from learned men. They armed Shinzaburo with charms. Holy sutras pasted over the doors, a golden Buddha worn upon his chest, sacred words to ward off the dead. When Tsuyu returned, her weeping voice called from outside. "Why have you shut me out? Has your love changed so soon?" She circled the house, footsteps dragging, geta echoing against the night. At last, her voice faded into silence. But ghosts are patient, and servants are weak. Yone came to Tomozo again and again, demanding he betray his master. At last, tormented to the edge of sanity and cowed by fear, he tore away the charms, buried the sutra, and even stole the Buddha from his master's chest. That night, the Peony Lantern glowed once more. Its pale light painted the walls with trembling shadows. Tsuyu's whisper was soft as silk, promising eternal devotion. Shinzaburo trembled, torn between terror and longing, but in the end, love won. He opened his arms. When dawn came, the neighbors entered a silent house. Beneath the mosquito net lay Shinzaburo's body, lifeless, clinging still to the bones of morning dew. The smell of old incense lingered in the air, though no candles burned. The tale of the Peony Lantern spread through Edo, performed in plays and whispered in summer gatherings of kaidan, ghost stories told in the dark of midsummer nights. It endures as a warning that even love, the purest of bonds, can become a curse when it crosses the boundary of life and death. From the corpse-eating priest to the jealous noblewoman to the lover who returned from the grave, these are haunted Japan's darkest legends. They remind us that greed, envy, and even love can outlast the flesh, and that the most terrifying spirits are born not from death, but from the depths of the human heart. And so, as these stories have been told for centuries in hushed voices under swaying lanterns, we carry them forward as epic folklore. If your heart still lingers in haunted Japan, you'll find a path to more tales at the end of this video. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the shadows. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, because there are more dark legends yet to be told. Until next time,